Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom reviews. See by title below, yes, this is on episode 7 of Seiren, and I gotta say, I am not gonna lie, I actually did enjoy this episode. This episode definitely did kind of have that Amagami feel to it. It actually had romance, it actually had some progress, some, something pushing them together. Like, we actually got, literally, I've always been kind of harsh on Shoichi. Like, literally, he just seems like he's always too scared. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't, fight for what he wants. And then finally in this one, he actually does have some guts in this one. This whole time, like, they're like literally throughout the episode, like, I'm not going to leave you. He's not going to just let her go and everything. And even at the end, he actually ends up getting a date with her. Yes, he actually gets a date with her. And, I said last episode, that Toru was I liked her character and everything, especially, she's cute, she loves playing video games, she's into anime and stuff like that as well. And then I said that, her type of personality, it needs to be brought out by someone with, a lot, not Shoichi, to be honest, but this episode actually really showed it kind of like a much more cuter side to her. Like, literally, I was adoring Toru in this one. Literally, before, I would full on say Hikari is my favorite girl. She's the best girl so far, even if, the arc did literally the way they, made her character going towards the end of that arc really pissed me off, But Toru is definitely giving her a run, for her money, especially considering the way this arc is going so much better than the last one. At this point, we were still in the same phase of nothing really happening, with him and Hikari, and kind of just showing, going towards the end, Hikari was just using him and everything. And like I said in the first episode, I was kind of scared. I was like, who the hell is that guy at the end of the episode? To which, luckily, they decided not to completely make this messed up and make it like she's in love with her brother, or that's some boyfriend of hers, and then she's pretty much just gonna friend zone Shoichi again. That's not gonna happen. Well, we can't say for sure, but at least not with the brother. At least the brother is actually a pretty nice guy. He was actually pretty cool when Shoichi went there, and we find out the whole backstory. We got a lot of backstory in the beginning part from Hikari and from her, the brother, and it turns out pretty much the reason why she's like this, the reason why she doesn't have much friends, and why Hikari was saying the arguments won't end and everything, was pretty much how before, most of the time when they were younger, she didn't really notice and everything, but a lot of guys ended up liking her, obviously because she played games and stuff, and her and Hikari both played games, so that was pretty cool. Like, Hikari definitely went up in my books there, but then went down because she was like, yeah, I'm not into games anymore. Like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. You graduated from gaming in middle school, whatever. But pretty much, we pretty much just find the gist of it, and it's just like a lot of guys, their pride got in the way, and pretty much that's why she ended up being left alone. The girls didn't want anything to do with her, the guys were intimidated by her, and she didn't really see it. She just wanted, she just enjoyed playing games and everything. And then finally she finds a guy that actually is okay with losing to her, is okay with all that stuff. And there is a moment in this episode, obviously, that she is kind of like torn between, seeing that with the other guys equal them, that they obviously, it's her fault and everything, to which of course Shoichi's trying to defend her and saying, no, that's not your fault, it's not your fault. And at first, in this point, you're like, oh my gosh, she's gonna run away from him, and like something bad's gonna happen or something like that. Like, I can't just help but feel negative about every moment, to be honest, considering how the first arc went. But honestly, this episode completely, it started off kind of like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? You learn a little bit from Hikari, you learn a little bit from the brother, and I gotta say, like, oh, she looks like a boy. I thought she looked pretty damn cute when she was younger with her hat on and everything, especially and then when she comes in and sees that and she's all blushing and everything. Literally, there were so many moments in this episode that she was blushing, and I was really like, oh my gosh, she is adorable, she's so cute. And then of course, he even gets her, well, that's not really a date, but he brings her out to, get some stress off and everything. And I gotta say, before I continue on with that part, that this anime really, really is pushing the whole what are you gonna do with your life, your career kind of thing. The first the first arc with Hikari was all about they both didn't know what they were gonna do. This one, it's all about they're having fun gaming, but now she's actually finding that she has to really think about the future and everything. put things into moderation. That's pretty much what's going on there. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with playing games, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, loving to play games. You just got to put things into moderation sometimes and, do other things as well, because there's obviously you can't just, you can actually just play games for a living if you're good enough, or if you're like a YouTuber or something, but that doesn't come easy, obviously, but pretty much, like, they had this whole cute scene with them at the arcade. Like, I was completely like, oh, they're like having so much fun. It was so cute, honestly. You really saw the romance that was going on between them. And even that part where it was kind of like a symbolization, with him putting the band-aid on, and it was like the silhouette that looked like he was putting a ring, on her and, proposing to her. I was like, oh my gosh, this episode literally, I don't know if it's just because of how bad the last arc went that I'm like overhyping this, but I really did enjoy it. I'm not saying it was the most amazing thing in the world. I'm not saying that, I honestly still think that Amagami is a lot better, but this, finally, we are getting closer to Amagami. I know I keep saying I should not, relate, connect both of them. I can't, it's bad to do that, considering Amagami was, in my opinion, was a really good anime, really good romance anime, and to compare it, it's just not fair to Seiren, but I just can't help it, considering it is in the same universe and everything. But luckily, this episode definitely, it got a lot better. It was definitely comparable, like close to, maybe even better than like one of the arcs that I have to say in the first season of Amagami. I enjoyed this way better than that arc, and literally that's how good this arc finally is getting together, and I cannot wait to see how the next episode is, since now he does have a date with her. She has so many cute moments in this one. Now that they're actually going to go on a date, and we're actually going to see some cosplay as well, so maybe some kind of moments, because obviously, our boy isn't like scared anymore. He's actually trying now. He's actually pushing forward. He's not just taking a back foot. It may just be because of Hikari's character as well, is that she was kind of intimidating and he didn't really have the guts to say things, while obviously with Toru, she's a lot more open, so he can be himself more, and it's easier for him to translate his feelings, which I could definitely see that, honestly, in terms of if I were to go for each girl. I would definitely be a lot more scared and intimidated by Hikari, and when I'm with Toru, I would be a lot more open to expressing those feelings and everything. And obviously that is what happens in this episode. I did feel that bunny kind of thing was a little weird. Like, why the hell did he like look up the skirt was the first thing he did? Like, okay, I guess you got some bunny fetishes just like your friend as well, but yeah, it looks like the next episode will be the final episode. Obviously they're going to like some anime manga convention or something, cosplaying and stuff. So there's probably going to be a lot of cute, embarrassing moments or something along those lines. And I honestly cannot wait to see how that episode will be, because for the first time for this whole season, I'm actually excited. The first episode of the whole season got me excited. And after that, it's just been like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. All of those, like, literally just downhill. And then got my hopes up with the start of this one. Second episode was kind of, oh my gosh, I don't know how it's going to be. I'm kind of disappointed. And then this episode definitely was a lot better. I'm not saying it's the most amazing episode, but in terms of everything, how everything's been going on, this arc, in my opinion, is 10 times better than the last arc. And we're actually getting some romance and some cute stuff. And literally, I'm excited to see. I just can't help but say I am definitely excited to see how the next episode will be. And if this arc does end well, then, I have high hopes for the last arc, because literally I was on edge. It depends on how this, arc would depend on how the next arc would be, pretty much, probably, and looks like it may, we do have high hopes for the next arc, which will be, of course, his Kawhi thing. She's going to be younger than him, so I can't wait to see her, because she's pretty cute too. So yeah, that's all I really gotta say, guys. So if you enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Is anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you want to put your own opinions, how did you feel about this episode? How do you feel about this arc so far now as well? Has this episode changed your minds about a couple things, or do you still feel the same way? Whatever you guys feel free to comment below. And yeah, if you did enjoy it, if you leave a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And until next time, guys, see ya.